So I'd like to invite you into the book that I've been doing this summer. And the reason is because I've pulled out some of these 6 move booklets that I started at the end of the year. And I just kind of wanted to recap how I mix all these time cycles of the lunar cycle and the solar cycle and my brainstorming sessions and my thought forms all kind of into like one complete practice. Because they seem like they're very individual things, but they really are just one book, the Quantum MeMoir. So at the beginning of my book, I have, the fruit of life pattern, but then I have my solar cycle for the year. So this is the projection that Bodhi and I have been working on for the entire year. And here we are now in our year of this month, the Elevate sphere. So the Elevate sphere is right here. These are each one a month of the year. So we're here on this month. And in this month's cycle, we've finished the full moon and we're in the waning gibbous moon, about to approach the 3rd quarter. So we're getting into a closure, the waning side of this moon cycle. And in doing so, I have each one of my weeks, I have a thought form that I go through, and I have a sphere in the morning, I pull a message, and then I write a message for myself at the end of the day, depending on what I've learned. I have my manifest list of what I want to create for the week, and my gratitude, and then some extra notes. And then this is the week that I'm on right now. So just like the lunar cycle, I'm in this accelerates phase. I'm in this waning gibbous phase of the lunar cycle, but I'm also there in my week, in the waning gibbous part of the phase of the moon. So this is what my daily message was this morning, and then tonight I'll put a message there. And so as I've been doing my lunar cycle, so this is next week, it hasn't happened yet, right? So it's blank. So in doing my lunar cycles, I've been realizing that, we have these goals that Bodhi and I have set in our 6 moves, the one that we have together, and then my personal one. And so what I did is I pulled these out and I went and did a thought form on where are we at with the homestead. This book has all sorts of things that we want to do here at our sacred woods, things that we want to do with water and garden and building a house. So I just kind of recapped to find out what are our priorities with our homestead. And then I made some checkpoints so that we could kind of explore, did we want to go ahead and create a garden this summer? And so I'm exploring my lifestyle, how do I want to spend my time? How do I want to spend my day? And so what I've done for Bodhi and I is that as I've explored my lifestyle, I realized that we have to figure out one for ourselves. So I recapped all of these moves, all of these potentials that we were going to work on this year. And I've condensed them into this one mind map, this one 6 moves mind map, so that he and I can go ahead and make a thought form and really get clear on what is the rest of the year. We might have had specific goals that we were going to accomplish, but really what does seem like it's going to fall through in the remainder of this year. So we're going to kind of basically recap or regroup from where we're at, and we'll make a thought form there. So since Bodhi and I were doing this, it came about that for the Our Story collective that I'm doing, the same thing. We were, Jacques and I were doing some brainstorming about how the different characters, the people that are in our little group or collective, how we all sort of fit together. So I created some notes and thought form based on some conversations that he and I were having. And so since this was all getting stirred up, the 6 moves, within this personal thing that Bodhi and I have with here at the Sacred Woods, our 5-acre woods, if you will. It's on Instagram at the number 5-acre woods. I went ahead and started incorporating it into the Our Story, so we could figure out what are the benefits, the 6 benefits or potentials of why I or somebody else might want to, infiltrate ourselves into the Our Story program, because it basically, you're plugging yourself into a group of inspiration. And you're coming up with a formula of checkpoints that you could move through to accomplish your brand or your lifestyle, your goal. So these are all kind of synchronicities that are working together. And so then what I realized is, because I was doing this with the Our Story group, I needed to go ahead and revamp mine. So what I did is, the book that I had for Bodhi and I here at the 5-acre woods, I have my personal one that I'm doing for the Quantum MeMoir theory. I have my courses, like the Know Thyself course, those different things. So it's everything that has to do with my lifestyle as it relates to Quantum MeMoir. So I recapped everything that was in here. I recapped it down here so I could really take the priorities that I had started brainstorming and started developing over the last 6 months, and then just really bring what I actually want to put more energy into. And then that way I can just compost or get rid of what necessarily wasn't working. And I'll keep this book because I'm going to refer to it. I'm not going to literally compost it. But what I'm saying is to remove the dead ideas that are not coming to fruition and just work with the ones that are actually feeding energy back to me. So then I have my lifestyle here in the center, and then I have these 6 potentials on the outside of what I could do with my time and energy of my life, things that I would actually enjoy, and they always relate to the Quantum MeMoir. So this is my brainstorming session of how I came up with this, okay? And then we're gonna move on. So what I've done now is I've refined that I have these 6 moves, these 6 things that I could do to, cultivate and make my lifestyle thrive, the things that I want to do, the priorities of how I'd like to live my life. So one of them is art. And I really pretty much already have that carved out. Like, I know what I like to do. I make time for it. That's like my daily practice. This is what I do for my health. So my art is one of the potentials. The other potentials is courses. So that's where I'm going right now and why I'm sharing this video. Because now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 6 different potentials, but not the art because that one's pretty solid. I'm going to take this and I'm going to break it down into its own 6 potentials. And then I'll take this eventually and break it down. And so what I'm doing is I'm refining and I'm putting more energy into it so I can cultivate and make this a better product or service. So now I have my courses laid out. So what could I do to make my courses more clear? Because really, I'm just in the development phase of them. For the last 4 years, I've been documenting what it is that I do for myself so that I could share it for others to be inspired to create something for themselves. So it's been developed like as I've been practicing and experimenting with it, right? So I don't necessarily know how to make a great course. So what I'm doing, instead of going and researching and finding it out, I'm just asking my intuition. And these are the 6 different things that I felt like I could do and put energy into my courses to improve them so that people will actually get a lot more value from them and would want to share them. And so what I've done is I've taken this idea of what could I do to make my courses clear, and then what are my 6 courses? What are the main courses of the Quantum MeMoir? That if someone took these courses, they would understand everything that's in this book and how to create that for themselves. So these are those 6 courses. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep brainstorming ideas of how to make the courses better. And then I'm going to do my inner seed words to really put in the intention and feeling and create this thought form, how I can make my courses be the best that they've ever been so that they can actually start growing, and evolving and reaching out to more people. So that's where I'm at right now. If you have any questions about any of the practices on my website, quantummemoir.com, there's a little thought bubble or a little speech bubble down in the right-hand corner. If you click that, you'll be able to have a direct conversation with me, and I can point you in the right direction of where you might want to get started. So where I'm going to start is I put user experience in here, and several weeks, probably a month or more ago, I was exploring the user experience for a Discord that I was setting up. And so I have all of these notes back here already sort of setting up like the flow of how someone would go through the user experience, because that's how I was setting up my Discord. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back through these notes and I'm going to see if anything jumps out to my intuition, and then I'm going to filter it in here, and then I'll process all of that information and fill in the inner seed words. So let's try it. Then to recap what to do with all of this. So basically this is the 6 moves, the formula that you would be able to create whatever your lifestyle is, create the 6 potentials, and then take those potentials and start breaking them down into more 6 moves so that you have the actual steps to get to your overall, your big goal. Like I have my solar cycle goal back here to put forth roots here at the 5-acre woods, Bodhi and I do. So this is all just to show you a way that you could organize yourself and work with the cycles of time, like the moon and the seasons, and go through this cyclical way of thinking right here instead of a linear way of calendars and plans. To me, this is more of an outline that you just intuit and then you just flow with. So if you find it fascinating, be sure to go check out quantummemoir.com and one of the courses that I have on there. They're already there for you to enjoy.